Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 6.
The search continues tonight for a missing Pulaski County woman, why police and family members fear something bad happened to her.
Police arrest a former Central Kentucky assistant principal. They say she sexually abused one teenager and stalked another.
With the second healthcare worker contracting Ebola, it raises concerns for hospital workers here. We'll tell you how UK employees plan to stay safe.
WKYT News at 6 starts now. Good evening to you. Both police and her family tell us they fear the worst. Tonight, they are trying to find a missing Pulaski County woman.
The Pulaski County Sheriff's Office says that 34-year-old Monica Wells has not been seen since yesterday. Investigators say she disappeared after a violent fight with her boyfriend, and they say they can't find him either. WKYT's Phil Pendleton talked to Wells' mother. It's our top story at 6.
Brenda Helton didn't hold anything back when she was asked what happened to her daughter.
Probably he's killed her. He beat her once before.
Helton says her 8-year-old grandson witnessed his mother, Monica Wells, being beat up by her boyfriend early Tuesday morning.
He said Johnny slung her against the wall and held her down on the floor and was beating her head in the floor.
The 34-year-old mother of 2 has not been seen since, and her boyfriend, 35-year-old Johnny Hendricks, is now wanted for 4th-degree assault. Helton says she called police when her daughter never showed up for lunch Tuesday and then didn't meet her son at the bus stop that afternoon.
And she's always there, no matter what, to get him off the bus. And he hadn't seen her the Tuesday morning when he went to school.
Police say Wells' son saw Hendricks head off into the woods on an ATV. Police say it's possible Hendricks took her into the woods near their Providence Road home, and they fear Wells was either severely injured or even killed.
And I've lost 2 sons. I don't know if I can stand this.
Police are asking for the public's help, and Helton says she suspects Hendricks and his brother, Freddie Pennington, could be in the hazard area.
I know somebody knows something. I know they do.
In Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
Police say the Somerset Pulaski County Rescue Squad searched late into last night, but did not see any sign of that missing woman. And now to a developing story we're tracking out of Lexington tonight. Police are looking for 2 men they say robbed a bank at gunpoint. It happened about 4 o'clock this afternoon at a Fifth Third Bank on Versailles Road. Police say the 2 men walked up to a teller, showed a gun, and demanded money. They ran off after getting some money. This is the 4th bank robbery in Lexington this month.
Obviously, we will look at the possible connections, but at this point, it's way too early to even speculate if there's they're related to another bank robbery.
Lexington police say they have a limited description of the bank robbers. No one was injured.
We now know the name of a man killed at a former Lexington car wash, and police have made a 3rd arrest in that case. Lexington police say 38-year-old Thomas Lucky has been charged with murder and robbery. Both 29-year-old Joseph Sledge and 24-year-old Kavian Thomas also face the same charges. All 3 men pled not guilty in court today. Late this afternoon, the coroner identified the victim as 50-year-old Brian DePreda of Lexington. The coroner says he died of blunt force head trauma. Police found DePreda's body Monday night at what used to be Premier Car Wash on New Circle Road. Some disturbing charges tonight against a former Madison County assistant principal. Police claim she sexually abused one teenager and stalked another. In recent months, Joy Allison Hayes had been working for a program at Berea College, but we've learned she's since been fired. WKYT's Victor Puente is tracking the investigation tonight.
Joy Hayes was a principal at Lexington's traditional magnet school. She was also an assistant principal at Madison Southern High School until earlier this year. Berea police say it's there that she met a teen she's now accused of sexually abusing. Berea police say that sexual abuse lasted months but never occurred at the school. Hayes resigned from Madison Southern in January. The investigation began in September when police received complaints from the parents of 2 different teens.
Miss Hayes contacting these juveniles, and the parents were a little bit concerned.
During that investigation, the allegations of sexual abuse came out, leading to a warrant for Hayes' arrest. She's also accused of assaulting that teen. The other teenager involved in the case is a friend of the victim from the abuse case. Her mother told me Hayes began stalking her daughter when she became friends with that other teen. She says Hayes came to their house and refused to leave while her 17-year-old daughter was home alone and didn't leave until her father showed up. Hayes was arrested for stalking and harassing, but while she was out on bond, she was arrested again. Berea police say she was pulled over in Richmond around 2 a.m. Tuesday morning with the teen from the sex abuse case in her car.
She had convinced her to sneak out of the home and come with her.
That led to new charges of unlawful transaction with a minor and tampering with a witness. The mother I spoke to told me she's glad Hayes is in jail and the investigation is continuing. Hayes was working for Berea College's Gear Up program, but a spokesperson tells me she was fired in September when they learned of those stalking and harassing charges. They also say she had no direct interaction with students. In Madison County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Well, we asked, but neither Hayes or her attorney would talk about the charges today.
Tonight, a second health care worker in Texas has been diagnosed with Ebola virus. Investigators say that nurse Amber Vincent treated Thomas Duncan, a man from Liberia who died of the disease at a Texas hospital earlier this month. Another Texas health care worker was also diagnosed with Ebola earlier this week. Health leaders say Vincent flew to and from Cleveland and visited family in Ohio just before she was diagnosed. And they're now trying to reach other passengers on the Frontier Airlines flight she took Monday night from Cleveland to Dallas. Late this afternoon, President Obama said the U.S. must monitor Ebola in a more aggressive way. Healthcare workers are on the front lines of fighting the Ebola virus, and of course that makes them vulnerable.
And now that 2 nurses in Texas have been diagnosed with Ebola, hospitals around the country are taking another look at their procedures for handling potential Ebola cases. New at 6, WKYT Sam Smith shows us what UK hospital is doing.
If Ebola infects someone here, officials at UK hospitals say they'll be ready. Officials have been working with the CDC and the state public health department.
And we believe UK healthcare is prepared for an Ebola case if, unfortunately, that was to happen to one of our citizens.
Officials here meet twice a week to talk about their plan. The hospital is putting a greater emphasis on asking where patients have traveled in the last 21 days. And anyone suspected to have Ebola would be isolated. But with news of healthcare workers catching Ebola, they have to reevaluate procedures for their staff.
Yeah, obviously it's concerning, and obviously it concerns our staff and those kind of things. So we want to address their concerns to make sure they're comfortable with everything that we have to offer from a personal protective equipment standpoint.
The plan is for staff to replace their gowns with bodysuits that offer protection head to toe. That gear requires training.
So the important thing is, putting on the equipment, but most importantly, taking it off, and that does require special training. And
anyone treating a potential Ebola patient would volunteer to do so. In Lexington, Sam Smith, WKYT.
We are told that there are hundreds of full bodysuits for staff ready to go, and more have been ordered.
Keeneland honored a young jockey who died the day before he was supposed to compete in Lexington. Juan Saez died last night after he was thrown from a horse during a race at Indiana Grand Racecourse. After the third race, members of Keeneland's jockey colony gathered in the winner's circle for a moment of silence. The 17-year-old was supposed to race at Keeneland today.
Juan had raced here with us this fall. He had won 2 races, his first 2 at Keeneland, so both Keeneland and the jockey colony here are really feeling the loss.
His racing career had just started in June at Churchill Downs, but he was quickly making a name for himself as an up-and-coming jockey. He scored his first Keeneland victory just last Thursday.
Well, it has certainly been a chilly and wet day, and those pesky showers, they're expected to continue tonight. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early look now at your forecast.
Amber, as wet as it has been today across the Bluegrass State, it's getting even wetter out there this evening as a steadier band of rain rolls on into town, and we're dealing with a lot of dreary skies out there in our live sky cams. Jackson, Frankfort, Richmond, and Covington, everybody with those temperatures into the low and mid 50s this afternoon. And Live First Alert Defenders shows why the evening continues to grow soggy as we see the steady rains increase from the west. Then all of that is rotating around an area of low pressure. that is off just to our west and northwest. Live First Alert Defender saying Eastern Kentucky, what little bit of dry weather you've had over the past couple of hours about to come to an end. Steadier showers on the south side of Lexington, very close to the station here on Winchester Road, Hamburg Pavilion, down toward Jacobson Park. That's a little burst of some heavier rains. That continues down Interstate 75, Richmond, Berea, on into southeastern Kentucky, where the heavier rains are just now getting into town. Look at the burst of moderate to locally heavy downpours down the Bluegrass Parkway. And again, what is there around that big, stubborn area of low pressure will continue to pinwheel into the Bluegrass state. I'll come back in a little bit and track the chilly showers into town and eventually out of town on your hour-by-hour forecast.
See you then, Chris. Thank you. A burglar stole money that children at a Lexington church worked hard to raise. The pastor of First Wesleyan Church on Parkside Drive says he first noticed an open window when he came to the church yesterday. He says he looked inside and noticed a jar filled with money was the only thing missing. The pastor says children at the church had raised that money to help with church projects. He says it had about $100 inside.
At first, especially, you feel a little violated. Feel like you've disappointed the kids, but by the time the day was over yesterday, I was praying for the person. I hope that the Lord will speak to him.
Lexington police are investigating the burglary. At last check, they had not made any arrests. County clerks around the state say the ruling came as a shock. How they are now making some changes after a judge struck down a Kentucky law about campaigning near polling places.
Also coming up at 6, how a safety program that helps Lexington children is back on track 5 years after being shut down. County clerks around Kentucky are taking a closer look at a federal judge's ruling regarding campaign activities at the polls.
As we first told you yesterday, the judge struck down a Kentucky law that banned campaign activities within 300 feet of polling places. This afternoon, both the Kentucky Attorney General and the Kentucky Secretary of State filed a motion asking an appeals court to stay the ruling. Fayette County Clerk Don Blevin said the judge's ruling surprised him and other county clerks around the state, but he says he is prepared to honor the judge's ruling.
I would suspect that at least in Fayette County, I will ask our board to determine that the door of the precinct facility is probably sufficient. I think that would withstand scrutiny.
In the ruling, the judge claimed the law violated the First and 14th Amendments to the U.S. Constitution.
A roadblock of sorts shut it down 5 years ago, but the Safety City program in Lexington now has the green light to start back up. The program teaches second and third grade students about safety on the roads. The program shut down in 2009 as part of budget cuts, but Lexington police say thanks to a new partnership with Eastern Kentucky University, Safety City is back.
This project exemplifies how services to the community, great valuable services to the community, can be achieved through strong partnerships. So we're very proud of that.
Leaders of the EKU College of Justice and Safety will now oversee the administrative functions of Safety City.